That's an amazing skill you have.
I know, right?
Here we are. Okay, cool. You got a pet fish. Can I have a reason to do anything now, please?
Yes. Although, ideally, we could have had that before.
What's my motivation? This gets back to, like, so many more adventure games would be a lot more fun if I knew why I was doing any of this shit.
What the hell is he doing in there? Is he sawing that fish?
Yeah, he's turning the fish into a spring for me.
Okay. No, not okay. I'm not accepting that. You cannot turn a fish under any circumstances into a spring, no matter how much you saw it.
I don't know, man. Have you ever jumped on a toadfish? Those are pretty springy.
That was not a dope fish.
Dope fish. Toadfish.
Oh.
They used to swell, like, they'd swell up when you, like, catch them, and then you throw them back.
I'm fully au fait with your quaint Australian wildlife. Just gonna walk across the bridge made of lollipop sticks.
Lollipop. You should be, you know, you have to know some Australian wildlife, because most of it's poisonous.
No, I don't. I am never leaving the city.
Well, neither am I, but I mean, some of that shit gets in here, like...
If it's dumb.
Yeah.
And then it'll probably get run over first.
My dad got bit by a koala once.
I think that's pretty much the easiest end of the Australian wildlife wedge in terms of getting bitten, isn't it?
No, you'd be surprised, because they're like those, okay, they're not venomous in any way, but their mouths are so full of fucking shit that they're toxic. Like, A, this thing bit down to the bone, like, Dad's got dints in his forearm from where the thing bit him, and B, it went septic overnight, like, his arm swelled up all crazy, he had to go to the hospital and get, like, those ultra antibiotics they give you.
Yeah.
It's fucking nutty.
Eucalyptus leaves, isn't it?
Yeah, they're a weird animal, like... The eucalypt is poison. Like, it's got no nutritional value whatsoever. It's fucking horrible.
But you know, from an evolutionary standpoint, there's a huge benefit to being the only one who can eat a certain thing.
Joke's on you. Bite, bite. Ugh.
It's like those fish who hang around coral reefs who are the only fish that are immune to poisonous urchins.
It's the clownfish, isn't it?
I think so.
Goes and wibbles around in between the tendrils and gets covered in.
That's a great scam that clownfish has got.
It's like being the tiny offsider to a large thug.
I'm just imagining him, like, standing next to the urchin, high-fiving every single one of its spines in turn. And all the other fish looking on with jealous eyes.
I'm gonna get that motherfucker one of these days. He's gonna come out of his little poison thatch of tentacles and I'm gonna fucking sock him.
You wouldn't be so tough without your spiny urchin friend, would you?
Yeah, there really is everything else in the world more interesting to talk about than this.
Licking bits of plankton off his many limbs.
Back to the gay thing.
Why would you assume that'd be gay? Maybe it's a lady urchin.
No, it was you saying it.
Oh, was it my accent?
More of your inflection. More of your tone. You just got wang on the brain today.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's, you know, it's a perfectly acceptable lifestyle choice. I thought I might have been gay for a little while just because I was, you know, fucking small, awkward and whatnot. And then it's just like, do you want penis? No. Well, that's that question answered.
I'm reminded of... I was reading, like, the tie-in book for the... Right up. I was reading the tie-in book for The Thick of It, the, like, BBC sweary political series.
Ah, right.
And it was advice being given by, like, Malcolm Tucker, the chief spin doctor, to new ministers. Advice on fucking, basically. And he was saying, you can fuck, but stay away from weird fucking. Note, gay fucking is not weird fucking unless you're not gay, in which case it's weird fucking.
Okay, so here's the bit that I edited out. I showed up to this area with only 2 bottles, right? I need a bottle of water from each of the things in order to, like, each of the ponds I've come across in order to put the fire out.
Now, that's just arbitrary puzzle design, isn't it?
Wait for it. I thought to myself, okay, the bottles are kind of an excess, you don't really need them. So I went and just filled 2 bottles of water, came back, poured them in, and then went back and got the other one and came back. It reset. You need all 3 bottles. And the last bottle was hidden in that... Remember that shitty fucking hedge maze?
Yes.
It was hidden in some obscure corner there, behind an invisible hole in a wall.
Lovely.
Yeah, it took fucking ages of dicking around to find it.
Well, they made games to last back in those days.
Yeah, and actually that gets me to a point about the walkthrough for this, too.
So this is why the Pegasus went extinct. The architects for this fucking place.
Well, you know, look at it. That looks great.
Just chopping off their heads and shoulders.
They do make an excellent wall mount and balcony.
How many more Pegasi have to die for our excellent balconies?
Dozen. How many you got? I'll pay top dollar.
okay, if that's lava, you should be dead. But then that's standard for video games, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weirdly arbitrary lava. Like, it doesn't harm you in any way. It's just in the way.
We're video game lava. We have never heard of the concept of diffusion.
That and it literally could have been anything else. Like, it could have just been a lump. Like, all it is an obstruction. You can't walk into it. You can't hurt yourself on it. It doesn't do anything. And here we go, block sliding puzzles.
Again, I'm finding it very disheartening how far the bar is across on the little timer at the bottom of the video.
Oh, dude, we've got so much more of this fun to go.
Hour and a half, you said. This is an hour and 50 minutes. It says so quite clearly.
Okay, so maybe I've underestimated a little bit.
You underestimated it.
Yeah. I know, like, I should. It should be like a noticeable point when I hate playing something, how much fun it's going to be to rewatch it. Yeah. Just this sucks, and I'm playing it.
6 spaces, 6 things.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a block pushing puzzle.
And they're just great. More games should have them.
You know what? You pick this game. You can carry this for a bit while I refill my glass.
So yeah, basically, as I've quit drinking, Yahtzee's taken up drinking, and it's rather amusing. He wasn't really a drinker to begin with. I was a hellacious drinker, like not like Shane McGowan drinker, but like kind of just hectic. I used to drink an awful lot. And yeah, so then I stopped entirely and just started doing all my training again, which is kind of why this video took a little while. By the end of November, it was end of university stuff, which was me fidgeting around with that. And then I do like 3 hours of training a day, and basically I was doing everything I could to just not play this game more. That and the Wii U came out, and there were actually things I've been wanting to play. Xenoblades has been a lot of fun. It's that kind of beautiful JRPG, OCD kind of thing, where you can like change your socks and it gives you stat differences that I wind up obsessing over because I'm an insane person. I've been trying to get Yahtzee onto more drugs too. I'm just curious to see what they'll do to him. Check back one day for a Let's Play where he's on LSD and we're not actually playing anything.
What's that boring droning voice that's been playing for a while? Oh, it was you, filling the time.
Yeah. I think rather well, considering you didn't warn me. Yeah. I think that was a fun way for us to get to know, for the listeners to get to know each of us a little more.
Dude, the more you give away about your actual life, the less power you have.
Dude, I've met your fans. I don't think the air of mystery does anybody any good in that regard.
Very few people still know what you look like.
Which is weird, considering that there's like, from when I was working at the bar, pictures of me literally plastered everywhere all the fucking time.
Viewers, what do you think Gabriel looks like?
I have heard some hilarious... Like, there was one comment where someone thought I'd look like Nick Frost.
If you could imagine a pale Shrek.
Oh, fuck you, buddy. Yahtzee calls me doughy. It's like, dude, I can... The amount of push-ups I do. Fuck you. Doughy.
I stood on him the other day. It was enchanting for everyone concerned.
Yeah, for everybody a little bit confused, I used to do Sistema, which is a Russian martial art, and really, really good if you can find a good instructor. And one of the things that you do is a lot of durability training, where you train your body and your mind to psychologically deal with impact and things that hurt you.
Wait.
So you do a lot of breathing exercises with somebody who weighs, like 90 kilos, like Yahtzee does, standing on your stomach.
Stop.
And it's a good diaphragmatic...
Stop bullshitting. The puzzle's over. You're done.
Okay.
We saved the video.
No, you see how, like, you solve the puzzle, and in any other game it would have, like, cut away to show you what you just unlocked and did? It didn't do that, so it doesn't tell me what I've done. I've got no idea.
I used to love playing Hexen, where you'd pull a switch in, like, level 6.2, and the captain, a door is open somewhere, and it would turn out to be in level, like, 3.9 or whatever.
Yeah, that's not fun.
You wouldn't know till you went and looked for it.
That is not a fun way of making a game. Not fun at all. Yes. I don't know, it's interesting how these things survive. Like,
What are you trying to do?
Just
Trying to
push
hump these
stuff.
tubes?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out if things can go places, or if it's like... Because, some games you'd be allowed to push those blocks up, but this
Right.
one's got such bad perspective that...
Pushing these massive stone cologne bottles around.
They do kind of look like that. In Russia, they used to put...
It's got a coat of arms on the front. It must be aftershave by royal appointment.
like HP sauce, except you can't rub it under your arms.
Do you know, like, the British royal family have, like, a seal that they allow to be put on certain products that they use? Just to show that it's approved by the royals.
Monarchies are weird things to me. It's such an odd...
I seem to remember, like, Kellogg's Cocoa Pops used to have it. The Queen, she loves her Cocoa Pops.
Well, good for her, It's kind of fun to see them, like...
I mean, for the sort of thing it is, you'd expect to see it on, Vivienne Westwood stuff, or the priciest fucking Paul Smith suits.
I imagine it on, like, cheap, like, corner store gin. Just, like, Queen Mum's choice. Just...
Pretty much.
Yeah, fucking rank uvula dissolving.
Oh, something interesting at last.
Yeah, look out.
It's a snot-covered Dalek. And he's coming for us.
Mucus. Yeah, but I can't actually really do anything to him yet. So I have to run away.
Just trying to think what it reminds me of. Maybe Siegfried and the Sea Monsters?
It looks like it'd be a character in Danger Mouse.
So is this a boss?
To a degree, yeah.
Oh, it's a...
There we go. Hit detection, yeah.
You've been snotted.
Yeah. And basically I have to re-examine my method of trying to beat him, yeah.
Re-examine your entire life.
Every moment up until now.
And what monstrous decisions made you pick this game?
The opening 10 minutes of this game.
You say so.
Yeah, the opening 10 minutes are like, oh, this is a fun little fetch questy kind of thing with a bit of personality, and then it's just gone.
With the little furry freak brothers.
Yeah, and it's kind of cute. They kick you in the shin and you hop up and down, and you're like, oh, isn't that nice? Because normally in every other SNES game at this point, if something hit you like that, you just go, and then there'd be like a flicker, like he does for the rest of the fucking game. But this one had all these fun little animations, and this sort of PC adventure game kind of feel to it, and then it just goes away. It just leaves you.
I'm regretting making the Asterix comparison so soon. I should have saved that. That was comparative gold.
We could have talked about Asterix books for ages and ages and ages. I like how in the background of most Asterix books there were like these weirdly adult things. Like there was one where in the background there's this lady at a stall selling orgy supplies. And it's like...
Well, orgy didn't mean the same thing.
Well, yeah, it's still, like, trust me, the supplies, in quotes, she was selling were orgy supplies. And that's the thing, like, this was in primary school. You could get this book at the primary school. Like, Asterix and the fucking, item he has to go fetch.
It was historical. Roman orgies were just, sort of dinner do's.
Yeah. Want to come over to my house and, like, get fucked up and shit? Sure.
Well, they wouldn't have said that.
Well, they said it in old Latin.
They would have said, get us over us to us, saurus, houseus.
Come and alternate between beating and fucking the slaves.
In vino veritas, sic transit gloria mundi tu fui ego eris, etc. Those are all the Latin...
You went to British private school.
No, those are just random Latin phrases I know. They never taught me any Latin at school.
A new sprite.
Why would they teach you Latin at school? What the hell are you going to use it for?
Dude, you went to one of those weird British fucking private schools. Like,
but then I could say the same about long division.
Yeah.
I've never used that.
I kind of want to restudy maths, because I was really good at it when I was a little kid, before I, just gave up and stopped caring about life altogether. And I kind of want to go back and just get better at it, just for no other reason than personal curiosity.
Just want to show off.
Well, personal. I don't drink anymore. I have to find things to keep myself occupied, and personal improvement, things like that are the new annoying way.
Well, why don't you start getting piercings? Then everyone will want to look at you.
I have a personality.
Get some really interesting piercings.
I don't need to get piercings.
Oh, you can express that personality of yours with some lovely piercings.
No. I already make enough fun of people who do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, you can pierce yourself and have tattoos and do all that stuff, but there's that class of people, and we all know them, who, rather than be able to say anything interesting or do anything interesting, or God help them have an interesting opinion, they just draw shit on them and put holes in them and think that that's enough, and it isn't.
You know, there was a time when I thought about getting a tattoo on my face.
Awesome, what was it? I need to know.
Nothing specific, I just thought, you know, if there's... Maybe I could just do something...
Your ad here. This space for rent, just on your face.
Well, the idea was, if I ever, you know, even considered the thought of going back to a retail job...
Hello, I'm Yahtzee Croshaw. I don't like jobs.
I wouldn't even be able to, even if I tried.
Yeah, but I mean, then you just...
And I'd thank myself in the long run.
For what? You'd wind up doing, like, concrete cutting or having to wear a mask and have a dude whip you in front of other people.
Well, that like, is more fulfilling than retail. Basically is retail, but cutting out the middleman. Ha ha ha.
I hate... That's the one good thing about liquor service was...
another little...
Yeah, I forgot about that one earlier.
This is turning out quite a lot like Hugo Whodunit, isn't it?
It's kind of like Hugo meets Dizzy.
Little perspective trick bridges there with Fate of Atlantis colour palette cycling.
Colour palette cycling. I'd like a shirt that could do that.
Didn't he already do that?
Yeah, but now there's two.
Oh, that's that guy's whole life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Walk outside and look surprised. He secretly longs for the day when things are actually missing, so that
Gives him something to do.
He can do that little routine he's been practicing for years, alone in his. What did you do? You've broken it.
No, I edited out the bit of me walking through the water again because I was going insane. Well, okay, when I was making the video at this point, I was hoping I could get it in around, like, you know, an hour or 20 minutes, hour 10, something like that, and... No, that's just not going to fucking happen.
Why is there another one of you?
I got a mirror that creates another one of me.
Oh, of course. Makes perfect sense. Should have realised.
And, yeah, you know, like all mirrors do, and it attracts enemy aggro, to use the RPG parlance.
Aha! Like the Hollow Duke.
Yeah, the Hollow Duke.
Just smear a lid on my face. And again. And again.
Just drinking creek water, making me healthier.
You know, if you got like a fixed health supply, you might as well just restore all your health at once.
Yeah, I know, like
just make you do it 3 times.
Well, I mean, clearly this game is the king of arbitrary fucking busy work. And have you noticed how big the game is so far? Like, we have not gone far.
No, this could all have been set up in one big meadow. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're daddy's big boy now, aren't you?
Yeah, I can use the editing software. Which, okay, now that's the thing, like, people threw tantrums about, like, how bad I am at this, and bear in mind, I don't do this. I'm not a YouTube person, I don't make these fucking videos, I have other hobbies and things that I do.
Oh, what a horrible thought, a YouTube person.
Well, you know, there is that whole culture around YouTube,
I bet they got, like,
trying to make...
some metal object lodged in their head.
I honestly, yes, I imagine a lot of them are like that.
And they, like, subsist entirely on other people's thumbs.
Yeah, well, that's, it's that new, you know, that's the problem of the ego seep into the internet, is there are, you know, children who just grow up with naught but that as, you know, how they gauge their value, and it's just... You know, every fucking thing is like, comment, rate, you know, subscribe, and it's like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm not doing any of those things.
Validate my existence.
It drives me insane. So I just want to, you know, I want to stress that it's okay if you choose that for your life and what you want to do. I'm going to university and have hobbies and other things that I like doing. So this isn't, you know, this isn't my bread and butter.
Thumbs if you agree. Thumbs if you agree.
Subscribe to my fucking, I don't know, meaningless fucking YouTube.
Because if I can get 50 subscriptions, then my cancer will go away.
Yeah. I saw a great one. It was about one of the teachers who, you know, managed to get shot during that, you know, the other school shooting in...
Oh, this will raise the tone.
The States. Oh, it was just, it was a thing saying, you know, 1 like equals 1 prey. I'm just like, God, fucking... Yeah, remember when God came down to all of us and explained the exchange rate of likes to praise? Do you remember that day? That was a great day. It was really nice when, you know, the Alpha and Omega, the be-all, the end-all, Yahweh, the giver of life, landed in front of us and said, okay, here's how it works. You know that retarded online popularity contest? Direct line to me now. I'm hip, I'm with the times. The Pope has a Twitter.
That was the 11th commandment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thou shalt thumb.
Ego, love me.
Although, like all commandments, it's been misinterpreted many times over the years. Everyone thought it was some kind of, sexual advice.
This gimp elf here, like, never seen again. It's just like, the dwarves have abducted an elf.
Of course they have.
Yeah. And then
But it's not a cool elf, it's the Rice Krispie brand.
Yeah, the shitty elf. Not the bow and arrow elf, the little elf.
Lady, you're really starting to freak me out.
Ravagers of meth.
No,
Oh, yeah.
That's not even a puddle, that's just a hole.
And more of this.
The lady of the hole.
Except, okay, yeah, now if... And you know how the hit detection on this is really bad? You will just randomly hit those breaks in the track when you're nowhere near them physically. It's really annoying.
Well, I think this is, that's better than just a straight path that you don't have to...
But look at
direction.
this.
Well, it is pretty extensive, but it's better than just being on a single rail, surely.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, of all the arcadey bits they had to pick to...
The essence of gaming is that there has to be the option to fail.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's just like land and like dun, succeed. But I mean, it's just, it's not a pleasant arcade experience, these little bits.
I guess not. It's like those bits in like Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 6 where you're in the minecart and just
The
occasionally...
entirety of Resident Evil 6.
Occasionally a big plank will come and smack you in the chops.
That is one of the most wretchedly bad games. Just terrible.
Well, you asked to borrow it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I really enjoy the Resident Evil games. I didn't even hate 5 all that much. And, like, Resident Evil 6 has that Michael Bay sequel effect where, like, it makes me like the one I disliked more because it's just so terrible.
Om nom nom nom. Om nom 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 nom.
I eat rocks and shit gems. And now I have a purple gem.
Of course.
And that was what all this was for, is just to get more fucking gems that I can go back and lob in the goddamn lake.
And now to apply my newly recovered machine poo.
Look out. Here comes King Shit Cunt.
Oh, blimey.
This guy looks like if Ganon had a brother that wasn't that smart and wound up just sitting in front of a computer all the time.
I don't think shit combines terribly well with cunt.
No, it's just that Australianism where, okay, for people who don't know, Australians in particular will say cunt an awful lot.
It's true.
Like, it's a very common swear word here.
It is ceaseless.
And if you go to, like, the outer suburbs or, like, real fucking lower socioeconomic areas, it is like a full stop. It's less of a word more than it is a vocal tick. And it gets used so much that merely calling someone a cunt isn't enough. You can't go, that person's a cunt. You have to call them a shit cunt if you actually mean that they're a bad person.
I would have said bumble cunt. I think that flows better.
I say, bumble cunt.
And also implies a certain amount of ineptitude upon the subject.
Yeah, but that's also, a degree more eloquent than the Australian outer suburbs are.
Why do you keep walking into him?
Because you have to.
See how this is working out for you?
No, you have to walk into him in order to progress.
Oh,
yeah.
Intuitive.
Yeah, I know, right? That was why I wandered into him and just died earlier. So I'm not fucking retarded. It was just, no, you have to walk into him.
But don't let being inches from death break your stride, Merlin. You're the king of the world.
There needs to be, like, there's his walk has to have its own theme. Like, there should be a...
I'm just thinking popcorn every time.
Damn it, now it's fucking stuck in my head. A friend of mine once took a bet where he had to have, like, this was back when fucking iPods first came out, and
good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you for informing the public.
And his the bet was that he had to have this iPod on that a friend of his had loaded with nothing but popcorn, and he had to listen to that for 24 hours.
That would send you to realms of madness that they'd have to create new psychiatric journals about.
This guy's a little peculiar to begin with, but I remember talking to him about it, he's like, yeah, it wasn't that bad, but for about a week after, every time I heard a low tone or a sound I couldn't quite make out, my brain would turn it into popcorn. So I'm just like, that's not okay. But this guy's a little peculiar. I remember once I ran into him, and I was like, oh, hey man, what have you been up to? And he just goes, oh, great, last night I got flogged in an igloo. And...
And speaking of which, look how gay you've made this waterfall. That's the gayest waterfall in the land.
It's it's not just gay, it's open for everybody. It's
and now gibberish. Some gibberish.
No, now a plot.
Oh my goodness! You know what? He's much more better qualified to deal with all the little furry freak brothers. We should just leave this.
Yeah,
to
look,
him.
he's just like, whatever, you little shit cunt, and then they like laser him.
Why didn't they ever think of doing that? Wait, are you rescuing the princess's dad? Is this the plot? Can't we just bone?
No, they... Ba-ding!
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Should have stayed in the house.
Here we are, an hour into the game, and the plot happens.
Nice.
I know. It's all been some weird Dadaist experiment up until now. It's just like, you know...
Oh, no, man, now there's a three-way choice of which one you're going to make love to when you get to the end of the game. And frankly, I think it's going to be a tough one.
It's nothing like a blowjob when the beard's there to tickle your taint. But yeah, now look, you know what? If I designed this game, I'd have had this Omega Gate here and had it do nothing just to drive players nuts.
Now I see why you made the rainbows, made the waterfall so gay.
Yeah.
Because gay is the currency of magic.
Man, guess... The YouTube comments are gonna go apeshit with the level of gay you've been bringing up there, says.
What? It's the rainbow is the symbol of the gay movement.
Well, it's the symbol of the LGBT movement, to be more specific. It's lesbians, gay, bisexuals, transgenders, transvestites. Basically, you know, anyone who has their sexual or, you know, gender life choices maligned by an unfair patriarchal society.
Look, if anyone says I'm homophobic, you know what I'll do?
Well, not homophobic,
I'll just sit here.
I don't think you're homophobic. I just think, like, today, it's kind of like in Monkey, how, you know, Buddha can appear as a female. You're just in your gay, your gay aspect is coming to the fore at the moment. You're having a gay day. That's all.
I think we all have our gay days. As I was saying, if anyone calls me homophobic, because I said that
if any cunt out there calls me homophobic, I will suck their dick. I'll cradle the balls. You can come in my mouth and I'll swallow it while I'm making eye contact with you. That's how homophobic I am, Jimmy.
That would be hard.
I don't know. I've been told that more often than not, semen tastes like slightly off brie. Which sounds about right.
Maybe yours does.
Well, I've heard that thing about, like, you know, how you can flavor it by what you eat. And I was kind of thinking about just, like, for a whole week eating nothing but, like, really spicy food and getting, like, some kind of Cool Ranch semen.
You know what I've heard? Pineapple.
Yeah, or cucumber.
Pineapple is the way to go.
I do eat a lot of fruit. It's such a pity nobody wants to have sex with me these days.
Oh, it's probably because you don't drink.
Yeah, yeah. And not to be unpopular, but I blame women. When I had a when I had a body that looked like a condom full of raw brains, fucking besieged with female attention, I quit drinking. I go back to university. I exercise every day. I'm polite. Nothing. Fucking nothing.
Well, of course you're dry because you meet ladies.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a joke because I've become a weird. You know, I liken myself to a legendary Pokemon. You never see me much, but every time you see me, I'm a higher level. Just
hang out at a bar with me some night, and you can have, like, some faffy orange juice shit, and I will have my chain magners.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to see, it's against my personal beliefs to view a human as a solution to a problem. And I don't want to do that, you know, I don't want to see it as acquisition of a human who has independent will and thought, purely to solve something that is an issue to me. Like, that's not fair to me. So.
Well, I think that says bad things about you, frankly.
What do you mean says bad things about me?
Well, the fact that you can't trust yourself not to do that to people you meet in a bar.
Knowing the limits, knowing, you know, human faults and what you are inside is an important, you know, step to self-improvement. You have to know what what evils you are capable of.
Now, I know this isn't exactly forward-thinking, but you got to admit that's a pretty gay overworld you've just walked into there.
No, that's fair. Like, that's unbelievably fair. I walked through a rainbow and came out in, like, this fucking pink mushroom kingdom thing.
You know, perhaps we should just use a different word to mean, you know, what we use gay to mean when we mean slightly kind of
bumsexual,
colourful and effeminate and lively. I think we should just call it faffy.
Faffy.
I'm quite fond of faffy as a word.
I say this area looks a tad faffy.
What a faffy little realm we've emerged into.
This is the dimension that cotton candy comes from.
I'm surprised this game's going on so long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Here's the whole thing about, the tile clipping. Look at this area. Yes. Look at this. It is fucking excruciating.
And now look at this one.
Yeah.
Except don't look at it too much or you'll go blind.
Ah! It's like the time I tripped over and fell down into some Fruit Loops. I was very stoned.
Are you sure you didn't just pass out at the breakfast table?
That's possible. I used to smoke a lot of weed too. That was my awesome fucking impulse control.
Yeah. I was saying to you yesterday, your problem is you just can't do moderation.
No, I can't. Well, that's what I mean, and I know that, so...
You can't even do moderation.
In moderation, no.
It's always all or nothing with you.
Yeah, I'm a creature of absolutes. Which... It's like Cyclops' eye beams, right? Like,
I love that's the first thing you compare yourself to.
Dude, it is. It's like Cyclops' eye beams. In another dimension somewhere, there's a healthy, functioning Gabe who didn't fall out of a plane and is able to just, like, use the eye beams fine. That's not me. They're just there all the time, on at 100%. So I just have to learn to deal with that and to direct it.
Well, that was a faffy experience, thought young Merlin, speed walking away.
I'm gonna plow my wood heart into your log, and then plant a flower.
This is turning into that strange level of weird-shaped things into weird-shaped holes puzzle solving, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, because, the whole beginning of the game took like an hour, and this last bit, it kind of feels really truncated and weird, because suddenly you just, the game hasn't gotten any bigger, you just get more shit.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about Gayland.
Gayland.
Sorry, Faffyland.
Faffyland. Hello, welcome to Faffington Towers.
I'd take the kids to Faffyland. That sounds like a good place to be.
Yeah, lots of, like, mascots with huge heads. I saw a thing about, in Japan, like, this place that trains big head mascots, and they take it, again, because it's Japan, they take it really seriously.
It's an interesting skill set, isn't it?
Skill is a generous term.
You need to be able to express without being able to show you facial emotion.
Reminds me of when I was reading an interview with Peter Weller about how he played RoboCop, and one of the things he researched heaps was mimes.
Yes.
For the, very physical gesture, which is why I'm not looking forward to the RoboCop remake.
Peter Weller's supposed to be, like, an incredibly smart academic guy.
I love Peter Weller, he's great.
Like, I heard something about him having doctorates.
Yeah. He's just one of those people where it's like, yeah, I act, and then, while you're sitting around relaxing and playing video games, I'm off getting a doctorate in something.
Like Dolph Lundgren.
He's got a master's in chemical engineering, he's a fucking genius.
Who I've just realised young Merlin looks a little bit like.
I love Dolph.
That was me trying to get things back on topic. Did you enjoy it?
Look, I'm crawling into dirt vaginas.
Somehow I had a feeling your mind would go there.
Well, I'm trying to get away from penis. I think the homosexual community's been adequately represented. I'd like to score one for the heteros.
I think you need to get laid. I think you need something to take your mind off these things.
No, I'm just gonna get more into my little bizarro modern digital Taoism and not worry about anything.
You're just going straight for it now.
yeah. Pedals that absorb my masculinity and go. That's helping me stay on track.
Doesn't go does it?
Yeah, it does. Listen to it.
What?
That's a rape gnome.
Those holodukes pretty handy, I'm saying.
Yes. When it works. Again, some of the, you'll see later, I try to use it in circumstances where it's actually necessary, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't. The thing's come and attack me anyway.
This guy seems to have zero threat. He's much, much slower than you, and has... Oh. But you walked into him anyway, because you are a tard.
I was trying to get my little... See, you hear the noise?
Right.
It does make the noise.
I don't know about you, but I've never had a vagina make that noise on me.
You're just not doing it right. You gotta get in there.
It's like,
to your elbows.
It's like Japanese cartoon porn. They always add way more sound effects than is necessary, and it's under the weirdest sound effects. And you just know there's a sound effects record somewhere with a whole compendium of them.
Having access to the delight that is university's databases, I read sociological, database stuff. One of the things I'm really fascinated in is Japan and sex.
I just wonder how
they're fucking insane, and not like the obvious way either. Like there's just like
flower, thought Merlin.
Plant a flower. This is how hippies think vaccinations should work.
And
you just, you go to the log and you plant a flower, and then you don't get, measles.
And now a comb.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be useful for when we pick which of those three booty calls to indulge.
Well, you don't want to start with the girl, because you want to end on a high note, and she's at least the youngest and prettiest, I suppose, depending on your personal.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know, this is probably a bit rough. Yeah, there we go.
I
probably had a stroke. It's just staring at him.
I bet you had a stroke. Of your cock.
Oh, okay, but okay, so you see how when you go down into these little, they're called anthills, and they don't look like anthills, but you see this area down here,
I should have guessed they're anthills, because there's no bloody ants in them.
Okay, so you see this horrifying maze, where you can see, like, gaps where it looks like you might be able to go through, but you can't, and then there are areas you can go through that it looks sealed.
Yeah.
The walkthrough for this, now, when you click on something called a walkthrough, you expect it to walk you through the game. Like, is that a fair assumption, or am I just operating under some, fantasy realm?
No, I think that's pretty standard definition.
Right. Okay, if one of the walkthroughs on GameFAQs for this gets to this point and goes, this is a pretty complicated bit, so I'm not going to walk you through it, so you'll figure it out. And it doesn't, it just does this, like, by the time you get here. So by the time I get here, I'm just like, oh, thank God I've got a walkthrough. I can't be fucked hunting around because it's stupid.
No.
And then it just gets there and goes, hey, you figure it out. You're fine. I'm not gonna do the walkthrough.
There seems to be something to do with mazes. Because I remember reading a walkthrough from Monkey Island 1 that did something similar. Where it just said...
That bit where you have to just go through random weird doors?
It just said, go through the forest maze until you find the treasure. We're not going to tell you where, because we're dicks.
I know, that's literally the one reason I had the walkthrough open, too, is because I knew there's all these little fiddly areas that I fucking hate.
It's the skull of a very big-headed man. That's the noise you imagine, is it?
Yeah, and, okay, those little spiders... They don't really fall for the mirror too much.
That spider looks like a character from Will-O-the-Wisp, and I don't expect anyone to get that reference.
Ah, I love Will-O-the-Wisp.
The cartoon series. Yeah. Yes.
Because we are the same age and watch the same BBC or, Thames afternoon programming.
Oh, I bet you didn't watch all the ones I watched.
Probably not.
Did you watch Maid Marian and Her Merry Men?
Yeah, no, but that does ring a bell.
I loved that show.
Still, Australia had Round the Twist.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
I remember thinking when I was a kid, blimey, children's live-action drama seems to be the only thing Australia exports.
Yeah, like every now and then, like Australia teams up with Canada and makes some kind of, live-action kids show.
Canada teams up with a lot of people to make TV shows. Although they teamed up with the BBC or someone, or Channel 5, I think, to make Lex.
Lex.
I remember Lex.
It tried.
Well,
So-
I think it did quite well for a try. Oh,
Yeah, so that's what the fucking comment
I
was
ain't
for.
even fucking going there. Young Merlin is in the land of Faffy, combing his hair
Seducing
and
flowers.
seducing all the local life forms with his lovely hair. That... It's just, not intellectually satisfying to me to constantly make these gay references.
Yeah, we're picking on a retarded kid level.
Yeah, this is
It's like,
just
wow,
too
he hasn't got
easy.
his shirt tucked in properly. And it's like,
just-
yeah, come on, give him a break. Oh yeah, and the teleport flowers, they aren't set, so they're a little bit random. So occasionally they'll just send me somewhere where I don't know where I am. I'm trying to get somewhere else. It's
Oh, lovely. Randomness in game mechanics.
yeah, and it's between that and the fact that the clipping in the mine is, in the downstairs area, wherever the hell I am now, the clipping is such that it'll make you think that you can't get through an area despite the fact that's where you're supposed to go.
And I'm just thinking, this totally explains why later in life this character steals Uther Pendragon's firstborn.
I'm gonna steal your kids. Just abduct them and raise them as my own.
And
Gonna
then
tell them bullshit about vaccinations.
and get them to pull swords out of stones
Make them run England.
and make weird references to a dragon you never actually see and be played by Nicol Williamson, who's really good. Watch Excalibur, it's a good film.
They used to swell, they'd swell up when you, catch them, and then you throw them
I'm
back.
fully au fait with your quaint Australian wildlife. Just gonna walk across the bridge made of lollipop sticks.
Lollipop. You should be, you have to know some Australian wildlife, because most
No,
of
I
it's poisonous.
don't. I am never leaving the city.
Well, neither am I, but some of that shit gets in here,
If it's dumb.
yeah.
And then it will probably get run over first.
My dad got bit by a koala once.
I think that's pretty much the easiest end of the Australian wildlife wedge in terms of getting bitten, isn't it?
No, you'd be surprised, because they're like those, okay, they're not venomous in any way, but their mouths are so full of fucking shit that they're toxic. Like, A, this thing bit down to the bone. Like, Dad's got dints in his forearm from where the thing bit him. And B, it went septic overnight. Like, his arm swelled up all crazy. He had to go to the hospital and get, like, those old, his little poison thatch of tentacles, and I'm gonna fucking sock him.
You wouldn't be so tough without your spiny urchin friend, would you?
Yeah, there really is everything else in the world more interesting to talk about than this.
Licking bits of plankton off his many limbs.
Back to the gay thing.
Why would you assume that'd be gay? Maybe it's a lady urchin.
No, it's you saying it.
Oh, was it my accent?
More of your inflection. More of your tone. You just got wang on the brain today.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's, it's a perfectly acceptable lifestyle choice. I thought I might have been gay for a little while just because I was, fucking small, awkward, and whatnot. And then it's just like, do you want penis? No. Well, that's that question answered.
I'm reminded of... I was reading, like, the tie-in book for...
antibiotics they give you.
Yeah.
It's fucking nutty.
Eucalyptus leaves, isn't it?
Yeah, they're a weird animal. Like, the eucalypt is poison. Like, it's got no nutritional value whatsoever. It's fucking horrible.
But you know, from an evolutionary standpoint, there's a huge benefit to being the only one who can eat a certain thing.
Joke's on you. Bite, bite. Ugh.
It's like those fish who hang around coral reefs who are the only fish that are immune to poisonous urchins.
It's the clownfish, isn't it?
I think so.
Goes and wibbles around in between the tendrils and gets covered in.
That's a great scam that clownfish has got.
It's like being the tiny offsider to a large thug.
I'm just imagining him, like, standing next to the urchin, high-fiving every single one of its spines in turn. And all the other fish looking on with jealous eyes.
I'm gonna get that motherfucker one of these days. He's gonna come out.
Right up. I was reading the tie-in book for The Thick of It, the BBC sweary political series.
Oh, right.
And it was advice being given by Malcolm Tucker, the chief spin doctor, to new ministers. Advice on fucking, basically. And he was saying, you can fuck, but stay away from weird fucking. Note, gay fucking is not weird fucking unless you're not gay, in which case it's weird fucking.
Okay, so here's the bit that I edited out. I showed up to this area with only 2 bottles, right? I need a bottle of water from each of the things in order to, each of the ponds I've come across in order to put the fire out.
Now, that's just arbitrary puzzle design, isn't it?
Wait for it. I thought to myself, okay, the bottles are kind of an excess. You don't really need them. So I went... That's an amazing skill you have.
I know, right?
Here we are. Okay, cool. You got a pet fish. Can I have a reason to do anything now, please?
Yes. Although, ideally, we could have had that before.
What's my motivation? This gets back to, so many more adventure games would be a lot more fun if I knew why I was doing any of this shit.
What the hell is he doing in there? Is he sawing that fish?
Yeah, he's turning the fish into a spring for me.
Okay. No, not okay. I'm not accepting that. You cannot turn a fish under any circumstances into a spring, no matter how much you saw it.
I don't know, man. Have you ever jumped on a toadfish? Those are pretty springy.
That was not a dope fish.
Dope fish. Toadfish.